Oh, hello! I did not check the sounds, and I probably should have. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Owlbear Inn, where we insult Scottish people and have a hoot. That's a joke. We don't actually try to. I just apparently started with that voice. I'm sorry, Friday campaign.
Look, it's one of my defaults. Don't feel bad.
It just goes to, like, it flows very nicely, and of course I get syllables and bits wrong, because none of my accents are meant to be perfect. Okay. Before we carry on, though, with all of our lovely nonsense, we have a lovely sponsor, Kate Woolman Stay Farm. And there's this wonderful little ad read. And Rytak's going to give me the voice, and I'm a little scared. What voice am I doing?
So, you remember King of the Hill. Do you remember Boomhauer's Louisiana cousin, the Southern Dandy?
No?
Okay.
I don't.
Oh, how do I describe his voice? As he wanted to sound like he was a Southern gentleman, but he was also very clearly, how do you put this, of a different persuasion than a Southern gentleman should have been. Also, he liked to walk on, treadmills, just in full Southern regalia, the cane, the hat. Yeah,
I somehow found a clip of him in a unitard with the front mouth open. Boomhauer? I don't remember this.
let me see if I can find one real quick.
So, maybe something a little more of a formal Southern. I'm not very good at that to begin with.
Gilbert, that's what it is.
Ooh? What's his name?
Gilbert. Here, let me,
Send me a clippy so I can hear it.
Yes.
The chat won't hear it, because I have that turned off.
There you go.
Yeah, oh boy. Gilbert?
Yeah, he doesn't have a speaking part until like the last 10 seconds of that clip.
Your cousin.
Yeah,
there we go.
The high society Cajun accent.
A high society Cajun accent. I can get there. All right, everybody. Need guidance on life, auto, or homeowners insurance? Contact Kate Woolman State Farm for all your insurance needs. Rates can be more affordable than you think, and protecting what matters most to you is important. Call Ben at 719-539-6265, and he'll set you up with what you need. That's 719-539-6265. That kind, okay.
That was perfect. I loved it.
Oh, thank you very much. That's a fun one.
Yeah, another character from Legends of Avantris uses that, and I just love the look of the character because it's just a lizard in a pimp suit. Just an alligator in a pimp suit with a cane and a Louisiana accent. I'm like, this is what we need more of.
We need more of this, folks. More people just walking around talking like this.
Just let your weird hang out. All right, Ira Dei.
Hello. Got a lovely map of it right above us.
Yeah, how many years has it been since the end of the last campaign?
Oh, starting on the point where we're going to begin talking. What did I say, 36? Yeah, 36 years.
Okay. So it's been basically a generation and a half or so.
Yeah.
Enough that the old adventurers are probably still around, but they're getting a little long in the tooth if they're human.
Yeah, they're getting along in age a little bit. Some of them might be retired. A few of them might be more established in their regime, like Yolandriel from the last campaign. He's very well known as the voice of the gods now.
Yeah, I've been hearing his name a lot.
Like he's
so much so I thought he was still a party member.
No, he's not. He's just a very important figure in the world as a whole, because he's helping get all those priesthoods and the followings basically
he's
back
literally
up
the Pontifex Maximus.
Yeah.
Like he is basically this version's pope.
Does he like it? No. He hates his job. Every minute of it.
Yeah. I can only imagine that with
retired.
big hats come big responsibilities. Does he have a big hat? I feel like he needs a big hat.
No, he's got a little silver, like, blue-silver tiara, basically.
Oh, a diadem?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, that is very regal. So that's not a bad choice either.
Indeed.
All right. So 36 years. How much stuff has changed, and how much is it now affecting our good people here of this new continent?
Well,
the gods are back.
The gods are back. Yeah, that's a big change. I think so. Surprisingly, out of the major changes that came into place, there's only really 2 of them. Thanks to the major efforts, Marcus never made his way up north to Ira Dei, so he never had any major effects up here. He just had minor dealings and minor touchings, because he didn't get around the archipelago very easily. It was hard for him. But the 2 major effects would be the tieflings. Randomly, they had no context to this. Their births for about 9 months started coming out as tieflings. And no one had any sort of context about why that was happening. They all just felt a pulse, and the next thing they knew, tieflings.
You know, there had to be some people who were just like in the mountains somewhere, and suddenly it just popped out a tiefling, and now she's trying to explain that, who did I sleep with? There's no one around for 100 miles, Ted. He's got horns, Luann!
We're hermits!
My granddad didn't have horns.
Heck, you don't have horns.
An entire generation of tieflings around the world would definitely be a societal experience, to say the least.
Societal experience, that's a good way of putting it. Now, thankfully, this place has a unique cultural history of looking at that and going, okay, cool. Well, welcome to the family. Or if it's permanent, I guess cool. Wonderful. But there's reasons to that we'll get to. The biggest effect, though, was the gods are back. Like, everyone was always following Eshnar up here. There might have been hidden sects and hidden locations, because there are the old temples that are basically in ruin. They're not being used, like burnt out old ruins you'd expect to see in Rome or Greece or something like that. Ancient things that have been uncovered. The library of remember the old days and how bad they were, and then got rejuvenated when the gods came back, because they realized, no, these are actually the truth. This is actually the good stuff and what we need to be following. So the whole what's the word for it when there's an IRL common day terminology when a bunch of people just started following the faith or following a faith.
Kind of like rebirth.
God, there's a specific term for it and it's not coming to mind.
I can think of that term when it comes to linguistics. Religious revival terms.
We'll just call it a revival. I mean, a revival works. I mean, that term... There was a great revival of... No, there's not one. God, there's many. And they've all been cast down to this world. Let us help bring them back and give them our prayers, give them our devotion, so that they can gain their strength back to help protect Nathriel and Ira Dei therein. So people started doing that, and the Vasuth Republic was one of the nations that just did a complete flip, like 360. All their nation of paladins and clerics. So when all of them lost their divine powers, it was a very clear indicator to them of, nope, that god's gone. Something definitely happened.
Kind of screwed now.
little screwed here, little screwed here. So when the word of the other gods started coming back, the priests and priestesses of that's his name, Eshnar, shifted and found the ones that were appropriate to them, realizing that they could choose from those that they might follow.
Turns out polytheism has its advantages.
Yeah. Choice. Funny that.
That actually was one of the big advantages of polytheism back in the ancient world. It's like, oh hey, you have your gods. Well, they're just our gods with different names on them. What kind of stories do you have for them? Oh, ours did this one. What did yours do? Ours really loves. Yours really loves hammers. See, ours just throws a lightning bolt at people. Religious syncretism, big popular back when polytheism was everywhere. And it doesn't show up. It's something that doesn't show up in fantasy settings near as much. I think the only one I can think of is Elder Scrolls, that they have like one pantheon's got like 5 or 6 different names because every like species there has their own little pantheon name for it.
Yeah,
which
like
is
it just shifts.
Nice. Yeah, which is a nice thing to actually see, because usually it's just like, hey, here's one set of gods, and because the gods can talk directly to you, they're all the same god.
I did that with one of them. It was Alia the Gracious. I called her Alandra, or the Wandering One. I gave her multiple different terminologies, and I would switch between NPCs that were talking about them, saying different things, because they didn't have the full history of that goddess anymore. They knew that she was like basically the lead deity of them all at some point, the one that really spoke for the most of them, but nothing else other than that. But now they know a lot. She's the most worshipped deity.
So, since it's been 36 years, the gods are back. There was a whole bunch of tieflings who are all getting into their 30s now. Yeah. Where does the party come into all this?
Everywhere. They all have an origin in each of the nations except for the kingdom of Balashtar. So one of them comes from Grantina, one is from Vezuth, which Savoth Dominion is technically I named these nations, people. Vezuth, there we go. But it's, at this point, civil war happened, they've split, acknowledged as a whole different nation at this point. Because it's been 6 years since their civil war started. But, so we got the Vezuth Republic, Trillic Union, ooh, she died. So not anymore. State of Uptula, and the Ground. BT was found in a ruin. So BT has a bit of a different history, because they're old tech from pre-Gene Wars Ira Dei, which there was a whole different landscape, actually. Everything was different.
Just the term Gene Wars is giving me just horror vibes. Like, just teeth monstrosities running amok. Like, hey, how's come there's molars coming out of that thing's spine? I don't want to know. I just want to get away from it.
I think the movie's called Asuka. That could be like it's an old anime or movie that at the end of it, at some point, one of the characters just gets so malformed and deformed from whatever it is.
That's the end of Akira.
Akira, yeah, that one.
That's Tetsuo. His psychic powers are going out of control, and his girlfriend gets pulped by his body overgrowing.
In some locations, think that. That is definitely what that means. Like, so the Gene Wars happened something like 300 or so cycles ago at this point. It's a little old hat, but there are still things that remain in Ira Dei from it, like genetic gases. Essentially people who are turned into gas and just live as a sentient gas. And you don't want to breathe them in because that's incredibly lethal. So you just run from them.
Are they flammable gases?
Depends on the gas. Some of them might love the fire. And be like, ooh, fire, give me that energy. And then it grows and starts enveloping your entire party, and boils start appearing on your skin as you realize it is a steam gas.
Magnificent. All
That
right,
kind of stuff.
In that case, I cast freeze. I'm going to turn Gas Boy into a block of ice, dry ice.
Well, that'll work. Now you're inside of it.
Oh, it's going to condense out of the air, and it'll be little flakes on the ground. You'll be walking in him.
Are you sure about that? Sure, go ahead, give it a try.
Precipitation is going to be fun when it's in a biochemical warfare.
Well, things like that, like Hindral, that city, which is in the Globshak marshes, it's the one right in the middle. That is perfectly fine. It's much smaller than its size, because back in the day, there was not a marsh there. This landscape, if you look at it long and hard enough and you know anything about geographics, it makes no sense. It's not supposed to. It was really messed up. Gene Wars did a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if your war is so defined by genetic warfare that it's called the Gene Wars, you're probably doing a little bit more than just, making super soldiers and sending them out into the field.
Flalo, I think. No, it is Hindral. Hada's the city that used to be the capital and got broken down into nothing. Hindral is a living city. All the people were melted down and then turned into the houses. So whenever you step into a house, you are stepping into a person.
Lovely. I cast Fireball.
Oh, they're all friendly. They will happily have you inside and then create the little flesh servants that will, like, little hands that'll do cooking for you. And don't worry, they're not cooking themselves. It's not Marcus's mansion. So you're not eating house when you're hanging out with them. You're eating actual food from outside. There is the question of whether or not that thin layer of slime is the digestive juices of the internal stomach of the house, because you're inside of it. But you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I trust being next to the gelatinous cube more. Once again, I don't cast Fireball. I cast Orbital Laser Beam Strike. Fuck this regular 500 kilogram bomb.
Let's give that a drop.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of the Village of Mimics, where they just keep like 3 or 4 mimics simulating an entire village, and they just keep disarming the players because hey, we got to go first over here to the blacksmith and give him all of our weapons and armor for upgrades, and then we got to go over here to the bar and get really drunk, and then hey, we're drunk, we have no arms and armor, and we're asleep. The mimics have advantage, to put it mildly.
They're having fun at this point.
You better hope that wizard has some spells prepared.
It's like, how did you do this to us? Well, you didn't find it peculiar that the merchant seller, the blacksmith, and the innkeeper weren't talking to you?
Yeah, it never occurred to you that all the voices you heard didn't have a moving mouth attached to them?
And they were all the same tone and pitch?
I know you guys kept failing perception checks, but come on. All right. So, where does the story of Ira Dei more or less start off?
In the city of Pallius, which, if you're looking at it, there's a lovely little Grintina Senate down in the southeast. Actually, it's my mouse. My cursor. I can get my cursor captured on this. Pretty sure. Here we go. Capture cursor. Okay. Heck yeah.
I'm going to have to enlarge that because I am being victim of screen shrinkage.
Haha! I could do it here too. Here we go.
Hey! Perfect.
Yeah, nice. Oh, smart. Pallius crater right here. So, we did a one-shot a while back, which actually took place at the start of the Vesuth and Savoth Civil War, or the Vesuth Civil War, basically.
The one where Vaughn kept rolling ridiculous 20s,
No,
right?
Vaughn wasn't in it. That was my home group. My home group actually came in and did a one-shot where they partook in a party, did a certain thing, Pallius got torn in half, and it was the start of the war against the Nork and the... I've said wrong things about the Civil War at Savoth and Vesuth. That thing's
Did this
actually been going for
involve
something like 30
one of
years.
those wishing stones in a 30-mile crater?
It
That's kind of what I thought.
And I caught them
so
by surprise, and I didn't give them a week to answer. So the one who touched it answered, and I had an immediate interpretation of, oh, I know what I can do to you. So I made him king.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay, so different one shot, not the one I was thinking.
Yeah, different one shot. But they did that.
That explains that. So there's now a 30-mile crater in the ground and a flying city, a palace somewhere.
Yeah, it's right. Oh, wrong computer. It's right up here. Guildhome.
Ah, yes, the guild.
Yeah,
the very
guild.
infamous guild. You're gonna have to elaborate on the guild because it's very clearly. I've heard a lot of "fuck the guild" sentiments.
It's very political. So there's a lot of politics that goes into Guildhome, and that goes into how the guilds are structured and where they're allowed to go and such. Mainly because they are non-governmental. So they rest outside of the governmental structure of any of the nations. Doing so allows them to have guilds represented in all of the nations, despite the standings of other nations with other nations, because they're neutral parties, essentially. So they have a lot of politics and red tape to hop over in order to get to
These guys are basically
places.
the Catholic Church of your setting, just without the church.
Yes.
They do all the other the political bull crap that needs to get done. But it sounds like there's actually a healthy dose of normal guilds from the medieval era in there too, since
yeah, there's
definitely a lot of political money going on in there, since it seems like every time you turn around, the guild is doing some kind of business.
So there's the complication of contracts. Currently, what they've got going on is they're really beginning to learn how complicated the contract system works within the guilds. Like right now, there is a national contract that is up for the heads, or for basically the hand, because the hand went in and stole military secrets and then came back and gave it to the Vesuth Republic. So they did a direct act in favor of one nation against another. So the other nation was able to enact a contract to bring them in either dead or alive. They got it guild sanctioned by basically bringing it to the local guild, which is one of them was a part of the Monumental Six, the head 6 guilds that basically organized the whole thing, and said, hey, will you sign this for a petition to allow guild contracts too to accept this? And he was more than willing to accept that money and say yes. And he signed it. So now guilds are capable of hunting them as well, outside of any law structure. And it's got a destruction clause to it. So the destruction will be paid for by Wern's guild. I think that's what I named him.
The feeling a lot of the countries probably don't like the guild too much, but they don't have any choice in the matter, since the guild probably is more powerful than most of these countries economically.
It runs many of the hospitals. It also runs the postal service. It runs the road manufacturing, construction.
Catholic Church.
Yeah, it runs most of what makes Ira Dei run itself. They bring a lot of money into the community.
And this is why we had religious wars for so many hundreds of years in Europe.
It's a fun concept to play with, especially when you take the concept and you just remove anything about religion on it, because then you've just got the core basis of what it was.
Yeah, you basically just have a cartel at that point. It's like, minus all the pomp and religiosity, you basically are just left with a very, I don't even want to call it a corporation, because it's more like a megacorp at that point. It's like, it's a bank. It's a bank. It owns land. It's the landlord. It literally is. It rents to tenants who farm the land. Like, it's basically a state unto a state at that point, except it's spread out throughout many other little states.
There is a little thing that they haven't really gone into on the details of, is the relationship of the guild and the Balashtar Kingdom, or the Kingdom of Balashtar, because one thing that they've been doing ever since Shalom became king, they've actually been taking that infrastructure back for themselves. So the hospitals run in the Balashtar Kingdom, they run it. The road construction, they do it. It's all under his control now, and he's done it in like less than 6 years.
The king literally nationalized the guild.
Yeah, yeah.
That
he had fun with it too.
I know. I'm seeing right here where it calls him the new and inexperienced king of Balashtar, but it sounds like he's got some political chops to him, considering he's not dead.
He doesn't. It's his party that does.
Oh,
that was the thing. So they got brought in as his royal court, and the player was like, I don't think he's capable. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the rest of everyone else thinks that. And they're like, oh yeah, we could run this country.
Okay. So what has happened is this is Crusader Kings. He has a regent, and the council is making all the decisions for him. Meanwhile, he's got like 5 in everything and is just an idiot. He's just a very good-natured idiot.
He's got great instinct. That's the biggest thing to him. Is his instinct is brilliant. He'll look at something and he'll be able to essentially detect.
Being controlled by Crusader Kings player. What do you expect?
Yeah.
It's like he should not be this smart, but he's actually that smart.
He's a lot. He picks up a lot more than you think. But they did that. Yeah, they have a great relationship actually. It's not that great anymore.
Yeah, but I kind of imagine I can't imagine the guild isn't going to like the fact that an entire chunk of their territory was basically nationalized.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that kind of stuff has happened in history, there's usually pretty stiff sanctions.
Yeah, there are. I think out of the document I gave you, we'll say 22, but it's actually 21 now, and there's a reason for that.
Somebody screwed up. Somebody's dead.
Somebody disappeared.
Disappeared or got disappeared?
Yes.
I have details that will lead to the arrest of...
It's an unfortunate concept, actually. There's actually only a few guilds that are in the Balashtar Kingdom. The top guild, the most famous one, actually, the Opal Blossoms, is based in the capital of Balashtar. So they have a close relationship in the way that they are always in contact with each other, because they're just next door, basically, for those two. But there is that wonderful tension of, I really wish this man hadn't become king. So they're secretly looking for ways of legally deposing him. Like, they don't want to get rid of him, kill him, or anything, because that would be an uproar, because he's very well loved by the people. And
You see, I'm surprised they're not going like full crocodile on him, where they're just trying to destabilize the country from within so that the king becomes very unpopular and they can, have him taken care of and no one will care because he's a very unpopular king.
Problems behind doing that. Not everyone will agree on it, and there are a few people who are actively working to help keep him.
So the guild actually has some standards?
Some of the guild, like Julian, the head of the Three Watchers Guild. He's actively... The reason why he based his guild in Balashtar is so he could be closer to keep a better ear on it and get better reports. He's got his hands in so many things, though. The poor guy.
So at least some of the guilds are not complete irredeemable assholes.
Yeah.
When you said there was
they're good.
When you said there was 22, were you talking about the 22? Were you talking about the number of guilds?
Yeah, the number of guilds.
Oh, which guild is no longer there?
Number 8, the Timekeepers.
Yeah. Did they get lost in time?
They got forgotten. Literally forgotten. Yondo is now the city of the Forgotten, as the party has discovered at this point. They've gone there and it was empty. It was gone. Now, if any of you want to know the actual D&D concept behind it, look up the term false hydra. A false hydra is something that will creep into a town and creep through the areas, and when it finds you, it'll pull you away. When it kills you, everyone who ever knew you will forget about you. Every aspect of you will be completely lost, but the physical evidence of you having been there will not have been. So you could find a letter from a loved one you never knew because they were snatched by a false Hydra. The city had 2 primordials in it that do that to people, and they have ever since just destroyed the entire population. With it,
Lovely.
the guild.
I guess fireball.
They're immune to fire, sorry. They're immune to a lot of damage. It's hard
All right,
to kill these things.
I'm gonna teleport them into the center of the sun.
The center of the sun? It's the sun, it's fire! They're immune to fire! The pressure, the force damage, that's what will kill them.
How are they gonna get out, though?
It's a false Hydra.
They're now trapped in the center of the sun. Oh. So it's like Rocco's Basilisk?
Something like that. I needed creepy music to be going to talking about this.
For those of you at home, that's a creature where if you become aware of it, it just immediately kills you. It's kind of like that one SCP that will chase you down, except it just does so at a distance. It's just like, oh hey, this thing knows about me. You're gone.
Think of it, and you will die. In this case, nest upon its lair, and you will die. Or, worse, you will be forgotten.
I mean, the worst part is how does anyone ever know that the city's even like there? Because anyone who went off to see it just immediately got out of people's memories, so they never knew that the guy went off to go see the city in the first place.
So, if you visit the place before the fact, you will know it as the deserted city. So you will have those memories of going to the city, interacting with nothing, buying objects from nothing, seeing ripened fruit on street stalls. You will remember shopping in the markets and trading, the coins leaving your hands going to nothing and disappearing, while the clothes come over to you. You will have all of those memories, but you will not remember a single person ever being in the city.
Bizarre. But I was meaning people who go to the city and then get their like mind actually eaten by the basilisk.
Oh yeah.
They're not the basilisk, the primordials there. Like, how would anyone ever know that their friend got lost there? It's just like, oh hey, he never existed.
They don't. That's why people kept going. When they arrived, there were dozens of boats just docked off, anchored in the shallow shores, and rowboats moved up to the shorelines. Many people went and traveled back to it, but hardly anyone actually ever came back. No one actually ever really did. So it became the City of the Lost.
It's definitely one where you're just gonna go make one of those wish stones there and pick that thing off into orbit.
Yeah.
I wish this city was in orbit around the sun. Very, very, very close to it. But cast this wish in 5 minutes. I'm going that way. Not 5 minutes. It's a 30-mile walk. So 15. It's cast it in 24 hours. We got a walk to make.
We got a walk to make.
Because we don't want to be on this thing when it ends up in frickin' space.
Here's my favorite thing about it, though. One of the characters, BT, is looking for a thing called the Oasis, a hidden treasure trove, essentially of Arctech, from before the Gene Wars, when Ira Dei was during one of its prime times, golden age, golden era, the high technology stuff. Think hovercrafts, they had that shit. It was all lost during the Gene Wars, all buried and destroyed, but the Oasis has it all. It's buried underneath yonder.
Lovely.
So they have to go back.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So, the party started in Palace. What brought everyone together?
Alias, for a few of them, need. For people like Zara and BT, Big Tin, so those two characters, Zara was a what do we call them? A changeling. A changeling that was created, a race that was created during the Gene Wars. People who were given the manipulation to basically chameleon themselves. In this case, you're not thinking traditional D&D changeling, you're thinking supernatural changeling, but without the need to shed their skin. They can just kind of shift it.
Oh, so basically Mystique then.
Kind of like Mystique, but they had in the show Supernatural the give, to where if there was like a flare, you would see that flash inside their eyes, and they could see it in each other's eyes constantly, just like that feline light catching it in the wrong way flare, whenever the light hits their eyes, and you can just see it light up.
Kinda. I'm thinking more like when you look at them that you see the old flash photography where everyone's eyes would be red whenever you took the pictures.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. It's a kind of like a flare.
I'm picturing kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like that.
Like you seeing the non-existent lucidium.
Yeah. But so Zora, who's a changeling, and her buddy, who was a genetically manipulated catfolk, the Kitsune, not Kitsune.
This just sounds like RimWorld fan fiction right now.
Pretty much, yeah. So you got that one, and then
we got genetic monstrosities, we got cat boys, we got a little bit of everything here.
They both grew up in a small location. It's actually not on this map. Let me pull up where they're from. Back to here. They grew up in a great spot. Here it is. All the way down here, called Nira. Very small fishing community. Think the smell is basically just always rotten fish. That is where the Thieves Guild and Assassins Guild's located. That's their headquarters, is underneath that city. They grew up underneath that city, amongst thieves and assassins their whole life. One of them constructed their own rifle, and...
If you do not have somebody in one of these guilds called a fish speaker, I'm going to be disappointed in you.
They haven't reached the right spot to meet him yet.
There we go. You can't put that much fish there and not have a fish speaker.
Somebody just looking at the fish like, you had a good day. Thank you for your sacrifice.
Actually, there's an idea. You're familiar with Haruspeci, or Haruspeci, however you pronounce it? The determining of divination through bird organs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Romans were a big fan of that. How about Pisco, the fish variant?
Stick it in the skinner in the stomach, rip it out and watch the intestines fall out and see how the guts land.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of Haruspeci, it's Pisces-Spexy.
Pisces-Spexy. The sexy. That came out the wrong way.
Look, whatever the Kutoa are into, man.
Yeah, to each their own kinks. But they got hired for a job to go fetch something. And that's where they found a deactivated BT, who was a Steel Predator, but redesigned to be more of a playable race, because Steel Predators are a challenge rating of like 17 or 18. Way too high when you're starting out at a level 3.
I'm not actually familiar with a Steel Predator.
They're cool. You should check them out. But we redesigned it and came up with the concept of BT. All the hard work was done by Stitch, so I just helped navigate, really. But he deactivated BT. Zora put him back together, causing the link to touch and connect to Zora. And then they stole him. They ditched the people that they were doing the job with and booked it.
They just stole a player?
They just stole a player. And they knew that if they joined a guild, they had basically diplomatic immunity to where they couldn't get hunted.
No, they only joined for political reasons.
They joined for political reasons. Here's the best bit. Let's move over to Teffy. Actually, no, let's touch on Teffy last. Because Teffy's the outlier inside this one. Because you've got Schnoz, so that's 2 players, right? 2 players tied in for political reasons. Schnozboop comes over because he's just joined the Messengers of Peace. He is from a different location. The messengers of peace are a bunch of people who want to spread the good word of peace around the entire world, starting with the continent of Ira Dei.
Yes, Snozboop. This campaign's prologue, in terms that he's the big derailer, right?
Yes, the big derailer, but in a very different way. Well done, Peter. He comes from this lovely place, Messengers of Peace in the state of Uptula. So he has joined the guild also for political reasons, because it will give him the ability to travel to different cities and different places and convince their leaders to bring in an ambassador of peace, to be the negotiator for all peace terms and trying to help bring peace around by implanting one of these ambassadors in every city. Grand scheme and grand idea, he's gotten, I think, 3 planted so far. He's done a good job.
It sounds like he's trying to make his own Jedi Order, basically.
What's been found out more recently, we'll touch on that later. We're touching on them coming together. Then there was Altian, who's from the Grantina Senate. Where's my map on this one? Grantina Senate. He's from this lovely little city, Zellum. And this place, these cities are built like grand tiers of cake. So you've got...
I remember this city, the one that you've been building on top of for a good long while, and
this one got destroyed.
Keeps getting taller.
This one was only three stories, and the hand, as we know them, helped destroy half of the city, which is great. Stronrith is the one you're thinking of, with being 17 tiers on top of each other. So it's
I was just thinking that city
in
style in general, because I remember you said that all the cities in that area were built in that kind of tiered fashion, which is definitely a interesting way to keep the desert heat out. Also a good way to keep it out, frankly. Just build really big, thick walls, which make really good foundations for even taller buildings.
How
intimidating does that have to be? So you're crossing the desert, you're still miles away from the city, and you can just see this thing like 30 miles away.
I see the city on the horizon. That's just the top tier, you idiot. Keeps going, another tier comes.
You still got another 2 days travel to get there.
How can we already see it already? It's because there's 17 tiers. And the light distorts.
Just think about how awe-inspiring that has to be for people who are approaching it. It's like you don't just approach this city. You have to camp in front of the city for like 2 days before you even get to it.
Yeah, they would definitely be feeling that pain as well if they didn't travel as fast as they possibly could every time. It's like 14 days, that's too long. Can't we just get someone to teleport us there?
Yeah, that's going to be some sore feet by the end. Yeah. Not to mention, if you're in a desert, hope you brought camels. Do you have camels in Ira Dei?
Yeah, well, we've got creatures like camels. They're more like centipedes.
The Gene Wars were not kind to them.
Yeah. Think centipedes that have these more like a spider-legged centipede. So this
is where they live. Has so many bomb-ass Chinese places with really good again. Chinese.
Hi everyone, we're back.
Hi.
Internet crashed
for like the second time in 48 hours.
Dude, yeah.
Internet's been a.
Yeah.
Can't say anything nice. Don't say anything at all. Look, folks, I had to reinstall Windows today as the possible downstream effects of that outage. It could have been completely unrelated, or it could have just been entirely because I didn't reboot my router enough times.
Internet company, you know who you are. You are familiar with me. You will know this voice. I have called you many, many times over the last few months and yelled at you for many, many reasons, for many, many places. I have gotten things done. And you had better not screw me over.
Please, we know where you work, people. We will send you angry letters. But yeah, to Zelda Elf and Michael Howe, who I know are probably still listening somewhere, all of the bomb-ass Chinese places around you, and you go get Panda Express. Look, I like Panda Express too, but come on. They are the most inconsistent Chinese food you will ever have.
Just making another announcement.
That being said, there's no like Chinese slop places down here. There's the one Chinese place that they do have that's actually Chinese is kind of upscale and like $13 a plate.
There is one of my favorite places in where I went to uni was it was literally just called $1.50 per scoop.
Oh damn!
And you could get $1.50 per scoop. So think those in Panda Express where you're spending like $18 for a 3-serving 2 sides.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's 5 scoops. So let me just do the math. If it's $1.50 per scoop, and that's 5 scoops, so that's $7.50 for the whole plate.
I would go to near my old apartment, the Chinese place. I would have to get 2 Pepsis whenever I went there, because if I didn't get 2 Pepsis, the total bill wasn't over $5. So I couldn't. The minimum that they had for credit card purchases was $5, and that was getting an entire entree full of like General Tso's chicken and a huge thing of chicken chow mein, and that was enough to eat like 2 or 3 meals out of, and it was
for a while,
just a little over $5. Like
just lasts a while.
Your stomach would be grumbling afterwards, but you would. It was. It tasted great, and it was cheap.
The river would be flowing freely the next day.
It's not that far from our office if you want to give it a shot.
I'm terrified.
It's definitely one that you probably want to make sure that you're home first in case you need to run onto the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
You may get the occasional bit of stomach cramps.
And I don't have anything going that day. Any of the
Don't be streaming afterwards.
I usually stream after office days.
Oh no.
I always do. Alright. Now that the crashy crash is done, we are back.
Tangerine's over here with the Pepsi Supremacy gang.
Pepsi Supremacy. Hey, I had a thing of Pepsi today. Let me just say, it's not very good warm.
Nah, most of those soft drinks are pretty kind of iffy warm. Pepsi's definitely iffy warm.
Super iffy warm.
Yeah, it's syrupy when it gets warm. Because it's...
Oh, you know what?
It's a very sweet drink to begin with, and when it's carbonated and when it's flat and warm, you just taste this. On a side note, do you know there used to be a specific beverage for Dr. Pepper where you would serve it warm?
Yeah.
Apparently it is. Oh, not as a hot toddy, not in the alcohol version, just warm Dr. Pepper.
I'm not surprised on that too. There are people who will do. Oh, what is it? It's like a 13 flavor turkey or something like that, and they will cook their turkeys in the Dr. Pepper.
Every day we stray further from Jod.
I like Dr. Pepper. On that note, so Selim is where Altian comes from. Altian is a vigilante, think Dark Knight, Batman guy. He was working in just the most delightfully inadequate ways to try to free his people. Wasn't basically getting anywhere, and he got discovered by someone and then blackmailed by that person to go do what they wanted in order to get clout and grow in popularity, to get invited to a certain location, and then do what he wanted to do, because he wanted access to the actual Senate and to the corporations, and the only way he could do that is if he did something like this. So he was told to go up to Pallius and join it. Plus, what happened after that kind of got him on the highlight of now you're public enemy number 1, because he planted a few bombs in a secret lab. Those bombs got amplified by the people who blackmailed him. So on the second tier, when they went off, it destroyed the entire lab, which then caused it to collapse down onto the populace below, killing a lot of innocent people. And he got pinned for the whole thing. So
congratulations, you're a murderer.
Yeah. In many ways, he too joined for political reasons. And then there's Teffy.
It sounds like everyone's joining the guild because they just need protection from their enemies.
Of some sort. Except for Teffy.
I just need to ask, the guild recruiters, like, are they running background checks on these people? Are they thinking like, hey, this guy's wanted in 7 countries. Should we let him into the guild? Yeah, it'll be fine. Don't worry.
It'll be alright. They'll be okay. A few of them might. This one's just starting up, and Julian knew of a few of them when they came in, so he was more than willing to say, sure, you can come in. I'll be interested to see how you turn out. Because good old Teffy here, let's go to this one, the Savathan Verzuth. She's from Crodpolis, which, if you don't realize, this road right up here... Oh, that map is just shambles for this. Hang on, everyone. Let me try to fix that for you.
We'll find it eventually.
Down a little bit. Here we go. Right. There it is.
This is why I don't skip. This is why I should not skip coffee in the morning. Ugh.
Gets rough.
Yeah. I skipped it and I regret everything.
Cute pole gang. Right, she's from Crodpolis, which is right here. And what some won't realize is this road right here, just above it, to the... Oh, my cursor's gone again. That's because I'm not clicking on it. Here we go. Right up here, that goes to Nira. So Zora and Teffy had the closest origin stories to each other to begin with. Just very, very different nations. The Trillic Union follows the Queen Eliza II, and the Verzuth Republic follows the leaders of the faiths, the high priests and priestesses.
Nira's a city, Tange.
Nira is a city. What the fuck? Nira is a city, and it's Nera.
Yeah, it's a fishing village with the guilds.
A fishing village with the assassins.
Thieves Guild, thieves and assassins.
That guilds. They are technically guilds, but they're not associated with the guilds.
So they're outside the guild structure, but still function as a guild.
Yeah. That's the way it is.
So basically, they don't have a license, but they're like, fuck you, we do what we want anyways, just like you do.
We do what we want.
Like, we're just doing the same thing that you've been doing the entire time.
Same, yeah. Crodpolis, she's from there. She went traveling, basically on like a whole find-yourself journey, just wandering around, having some fun.
Backpacking across Europe kind of thing.
Backpacking across Europe. And wanted to go to the... What's it called? Boop, 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 boop. She wanted to go to the Archipelago of the Gods. The most dangerous location in the world, seen as more dangerous than the Nork Empire, more dangerous than the Globshak Marshes. No one goes there, comes out alive.
Even Marcus fucked off from there, right?
Even Marcus fucked off from there. Yeah, he wouldn't even mess with it.
Yeah, that's probably a sign they're tangerine.
Probably. But no, they wanted to go there.
Here be dragons. They're like gene-edited dragons that breathe just chemical warfare.
It's a little worse there. So the Archipelago of the Gods is not... Nothing happened inside the Archipelago as far as the gene wars. The Archipelago was the center of the shattering. When the Pangea of Nathriel was shattered into the continents it was during the cataclysmic fall of the primals, when the primals and the gods, the deities, first started fighting each other. The Pangea itself was then shattered by the great giant, the great titan that the gods brought forth, broke it into oblivion, and inside the archipelago, multiple different primordials were captured. And they've discovered all this fairly recently. Or they've gotten the information. I'm not sure if they've pieced it together. But here you go. Freebie. But not all of the primordials were captured in there, just a few of them, quite a few of them were. And every single island in there is basically as a prison to that one. So some really crazy things have started to happen on those locations. depending on which primordial's trapped there.
So this is basically, if you need to do a low orbit ion cannon strike on most of Ira Dei, then this particular archipelago is just exterminatus everything and liquefy the crust.
Yeah, you could do your best, yeah. Yeah. The islands move, so who's to tell if they'll actually stay in the spot you shoot?
Look, we just need to start teleporting just vast parts of the crust off into the sun for permanent containment.
It's like, and this island goes, and this island goes. So to give you an idea of how terrified you should be of this place, you're familiar with the SCP universe, right?
Yeah.
Every single island was inspired by an SCP.
Lovely. Right, so what you're going to do is you're going to find a wizard to cast Wish, and then he's going to take that entire archipelago and punt it off into the fucking sun.
Wish is one of the spells that doesn't work. You have to find one of the keystones to do it.
God.
The gods are locked behind the divine gate now, ever since Eshnar's been removed.
Get all the gods together, get one of the wish stones, and say, we're fucking this thing off, people. It's got to leave the planet.
I can tell you what the voice behind the wish stones would say to that. No.
My second wish is to fuck your face.
Really? Interesting.
With a nuclear bomb.
Thanks for the power.
Enjoy the indigestion.
Oh, it's tasty indigestion. Well, they all found their way to Palace and joined the Three Watchers, creating the Hand. Oh, Gwyn, Zora's friend, died at the end of the first session. Got shot through the head because the people that they stole from really didn't like the fact that they stole from them.
Seems like it may have been a bad idea. So did they really think the guild was going to just protect them from everything? Because
it's done a pretty good job so far.
I mean, one of you is a wanted terrorist.
Yeah. A wanted rebellion general now.
It's a good thing the guild is politically neutral and not pissing off any of the other countries around on the island or on the continent, because that would be bad.
A thing with joining the guilds as well is when you act like what that assassin guy did to Gwyn after they joined the guild, assassinating her after that moment, he got a little bit more than executed. He was basically dehydrated to the brink of it, starved to the brink of it, and then executed. He was
they
brought
really
to
made him suffer.
The brink of everything. Like, the guild, they protect their own. So when you go in and you hurt one of their own, they are gonna make you hurt.
So they're basically psychopaths who pretend they're not psycho.
Wonderful. A few of them, yeah. Depends on
I
which
see
guild
why
you
everyone says fuck the guild.
get. They're very confusing, aren't they? Not
It definitely
confusing, even, really.
It definitely seems like the kind of thing that once the guild stops being useful, they're going to be a lot of guild heads rolling, since
they're going to turn into a liability.
Exactly. A very big liability. It's like, wait a minute, you're causing a lot of changes to the status quo that's going to make us poor. We can't be having that. We're going to have to liquidate these assets. And oh shit, all of our assassins' heads just got cut off.
Bad stuff happening. Bad stuff happening.
Yes, Tangerine, we know about the plutonium and the uranium. You are a liability. We can't leave you unattended in any storeroom.
Your gods, only half an hour in? No, the internet crashed. We're actually a bit more than half an hour.
Mine's just an hour and 15 minutes.
It's doing junky things with you then, eh?
But it's actually that's actually closer to the actual number, though.
It is actually, yeah. And Tangerine, you absolutely cannot be trusted with radioactive substances. No. Anyone who's considering that, if you call me and ask can they be trusted with it, I'm sorry, my answer is no.
Look, Tangerine, we do not trust you with yellow cake. We do not trust
At
you
all.
with polonium. We do not trust you
all.
with uranium, plutonium, or
I value my life.
On a side note, orphan sources are goddamn terrifying, and just putting a few of them into your sci-fi setting is not going to be fun, or the sci-fi setting to your fantasy setting is not going to be fun for the players because, oh, hey, you pick up a nondescript chunk of metal. Your hand feels a little warm. And then the next day, you're just dead. Do not pass go. Do not collect $100. It just, hey, all of your chromosomes are now chromodonts. So, enjoy.
Enjoy. That's this battle shop. But yeah, so they're in Pallius. Well, they joined Pallius, which is where their guild is, the Three Watchers. Lovely, lovely place. And that's in the Sleeping Peaks. The Balstar Kingdom in general, that's all here. That's this map. So this place...
So, of course, the Ballastar Kingdom is closest to the Archipelago of the Gods. So,
yeah, it's right next to it. Look at that.
Do they get some weird bullshit coming out of the islands every once in a while?
No, so everything in the islands cannot leave the island. It's part of the trap and the enchantment that's been put on it by the gods. They stopped them from being able to leave easily. Now, the Primordials can get away around this by bonding with someone so that they can leave via that person. However, no one goes in because they're all terrified. They're absolutely terrified of the place.
So basically, don't go there and just bomb it from orbit until it is no longer islands and it's just
and low-lying. Really hope that the islands don't move while you're in the process of bombing.
I mean, if they move, we just gotta find out where they move to and keep bombing them.
They'll keep moving. It's part of the enchantment. It's hard to find and destroy, because if you destroy it... Here's the thing with the Primordials. If you kill them, they will just get reborn. You cannot permanently kill a Primordial. So if you kill them on these islands, you're releasing them from their prison. You're allowing that horror of that single island to then spread to the entire world.
And this was the best prison the gods could come up with.
Yes,
I'm seeing why everyone jumped over to that other god when they had the chance.
And what a great solution he turned out to be. He wasn't.
See, clearly you just gotta find the right god to smite these guys.
No, like, so that's
what's the god that can destroy you from every dimension at once?
I'd have that answer. I will not tell you. I don't know where I was going in that one. But that's how they came together. Wonderful means of traveling around. Tuffy was the most non-political of them all, really. Like, there was no political movements to it, just following their whims and wanting a way to get to the archipelago.
Which is a nice way of saying this was the only one who wasn't a wanted criminal when they joined. I mean, you have a terrorist, you have people wanted for murder, you have people who double-crossed some other people in order to steal a steel predator, so... Yeah, it definitely seems like a lot of the people just joined because somebody wanted their head, and then there's just the one person who's like, I'm helping!
I'm helping. This is fun. I like this.
I'm in danger.
Oh, Druid God, that's a giant mushroom. Let me introduce you to this lovely tree right here. Not that one. It is that one, actually. This lovely giant tree is an actual tree that now houses the Aberrations. They have relocated here, and that's actually where they've met their first encountered what they understand to be a primordial for the first time. Yes.
Mushroom tree people.
Yeah. Aberrations. They are great.
I'm surprised they're not in the marshland, honestly. They seem like the kind of people who would just really enjoy the swamps and the marshes.
That was a weird word to catch. I'll have to look that one up, but that should be good. Sorry, Max. Zax, that should go through. It called it for a misspelling. That's a misspelling, everyone. Don't worry. I think it allowed it. I said allow. Post-book drowsiness. Yeah, yo. We are too terrifying. I have to catch up on chat. Sorry. Even small portions. Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you at home, I am very exhausted today because I had to reinstall Windows.
Yeah.
Everything decided to basically screw the pooch today. My computer was no longer functional while connected to the internet. On the bright side, my entire game collection is just fine because I keep Steam on the second partition.
Nice.
Keep most things on the second partition. I only really lost a small amount of software that I got to reinstall, but I have everything to reinstall it in one folder for that very reason. So
scabs are fun. Yeah. All right. What's next? What have we got?
Yeah. So the party met in Palace.
Yeah.
Where'd they go from there?
Well, it was designed as an open world content, so I basically said, this is your world, it is your oyster, where would you like to go? And gave them a few options of a couple of missions that were available. They could start up on their character paths if any of them wanted to share with each other, but no, as usual. Party plays a bunch of characters who don't work well together. It's very amusing. Very amusing how that always happens. And they ended up going...
Is this the lore keeper's way of saying his players don't roleplay together enough?
Yes. They don't. Sorry. Love you guys, but you don't.
That is one thing I've
role-playing
noticed
together more.
When I was making clips, I'm like...
They don't!
There's a lot of talking to the party and a lot less talking to the other characters, I've noticed.
It's always me! Unless I have an NPC there, they won't talk. And it frustrates me! Get to know each other! We want to get to know you too! It's been 40 sessions and we don't even know you!
You got to interact with one another.
You're rebelling? Against what? Why? We know nothing about you! Why are we helping you?
This is what you gotta do. You have to railroad the characters into a tavern for like 2 weeks straight where they have nothing to do for like 2 full sessions, but just RP with each other because they can't leave the tavern.
We barely know Teffy, actually. Tangerine, I'm going to challenge you on that one. We barely know Teffy. We know very little about her. They're always 1-word or 3-word answer persons. Like, they never actually really get too in-depth with things. We've had a couple of good interactions, but it's always been me leading the charge on that interaction. I want to see the PCs interact more with each other. Like, the PCs need to interact more. You know Teffy very well. We don't. I want more RP, but... Yeah. They ended up grabbing 2 of the missions and heading to one of the smaller cities that's not hidden inside here because it's not a major capital. Or not a major city, so it's too small. Smart farming community or something like that. Manufacturing location. And then up to another city for another quest. And there they hit 2 different things. One of them, they resolved a ghost's request. So they found a ghost that was appearing by a tree. They actually spoke to him instead of trying to kill him, which surprised me. That was pretty cool. They got his request and went to where his lair was, because he was a pirate that got slayed, or a sailor that died in the archipelago of some kind. It was a sailor that died in the archipelago. They listened to him, went to the place, found his stuff, and brought it to his widow, and helped his child relocate to Estrago, where they met the guildmaster Raki of the Reckless Calculated Risk Guild, who was a genetic humanoid raccoon. Great character. I like him.
Tangerine says she's stepping up. They will only communicate as Teffy next session. That's half the reason why Veil Pip is as crazy as he is just so I can make what would otherwise be out of character stuff in character, because Veil Pip can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, they went to Orsted, something like that, and they took care of the Quakes mission, where they found an ancient lab from the Gene Wars, either the Gene Wars or pre-Gene Wars.
This was a different lab, right? This wasn't the one that led to a lot of questionable outcomes for a lot of unintended patients.
They were all kind of like that. The Gene Wars was not so much nation versus nation, but mad alchemist versus mad alchemist.
Every time I hear the Gene Wars, I'm just thinking of that new RimWorld expansion where it's, what is it, Anomalies? where it's just flesh horrors everywhere. It's like, okay, who gave these people genetic engineering? You guys have not been responsible for this. Why did you give that chicken teeth?
So I thought it might be funny. Don't worry, he's only got 16. It's okay.
Not funny. It's horrifying. Look at it.
I don't know what you're talking about, horrifying.
The person telling you this just has, like, squid legs.
Squigs.
And from the waist down, it's just tentacles. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. They finished that mission and actually discovered that it was trying to get turned on. It was basically a failed doomsday device created by a mad scientist back then who was trying to replicate the shattering. He wasn't very successful, but the demons who came in were pretty successful at upgrading it and trying to get it to work again. They were trying to get Ira Dei to shatter into pieces so they can conquer it better. But then the hand came in and killed them. And then I made a major mistake. I gave them an arcane-powered generator.
That seems like that could be very useful.
It was. It was very useful. For all of us.
What did it do?
It destroyed a city.
Which city?
Zellum!
So that's what happened to Zello.
That's what happened to Zellum. Yep, Altian took it, designed a vehicle behind it, because there are things called skiffs. So in this, we do have a sense of motorized vehicles, but they're not motorized by what we would understand. They're motorized...
Not an internal combustion engine, it's a magic crystal, right? Okay.
Not even that. It's an arc helm. Every single machine is used by an arc helm. So an arcanist is attached to this arc helm and is fueling his energy into it to power the vehicle. And the vehicle is powered through an organic matter human being. So there are no engines.
Are they willing for this, or do they just strap in a dude?
No, they're willing for it, yeah. They're absolutely willing for it. They need to go to floor 13. I really want you guys to go to floor 13. Please go to floor 13. I will not tell you what part of Rytak's sentence reminded me of that. But they brought the Batmobile, not the Batmobile because that's copyrighted, the Altian Mobile, the Interceptor. The Interceptor Mark 1 now, actually, we have to mark it as. Went to Zellum to try to do some
it's the shit kicker Mark 1.
Some very bad things happened to it, because some people were trying to steal it and take that engine out. They didn't want the vehicle. They wanted the engine.
Did it look like that scene from Casino where it just goes up in flames?
Oh, a little worse than that. To avoid allowing them to get the engine, Altian then threw his grenades at it and blew it and tried to blow it up. He did not take into consideration this was an Arc-Tech engine that did not use gasoline to fuel it. So what was it fueled on? How did it regenerate its own energy? What's inside the engine? Nothing good. The whole area was washed in basically an anti-magic arcane field. Zellum is a giant 27-ish mile wide anti-magic arcane field now. It's like radiation, but of the arcane variation. You can't cast any spells or anything. Nothing
what
magical
happens when
works.
you drag a primordial in there?
You can certainly try.
Just for science sake.
You can certainly try. That would be
We're gonna weaponize anti-magic. There's an idea. Instead of nukes in your setting, you make a bomb that is just an anti-magic bomb that destroys magic in it for its radius.
Assault trees.
You carpet bomb your enemy with them.
Assault trees, yeah. They sapped and they took all the magic from the land. So
that's one way to do it, but I'm assuming one way that's just like, hey, anything magic in this area, screw you in particular, and screw all of your descendants forever.
There was something like that. Marcus created it and actually used it, but his brother, not Geisval, the other one, the one that died. I can't remember my own NPC's name anymore. The king.
So Marcus had a brother and he wasn't an asshole?
Yeah, well, he was kind of a dick, but he was a well-constructed and well-pulled-together dick. But he destroyed that item when he found it from Marcus, because Marcus was using it to get around the Magus's work and additions to Andrea. Zelum sure is the tiered city in Grantina City. It's less tiered now. It's kind of...
It's more like someone took a wedding cake and chopped it in half.
Yeah, like the wedding dinner's done now. The cake has been cut into. It's been shoved into the bride and the groom's faces, or the groom and the groom and the bride, or whatever combination they're in. And now has a giant slip. So you see this compass that it kind of shapes it out. Imagine the northwestern section of it just being gone. Blown outwards.
Was there like a explosion or just boop, and everything's gone?
Big explosion. Big explosion, and then everything's gone. Everything that was left in.
So there's got to be a ton of rubble there. Sucks to live in Zelum.
Yeah, it's sent a few miles wide too, so you can go out a few miles and you'll probably find some Zelum rubble in there. Didn't start that way. Zelum was the manufacturing hub of the entire Grantina Senate. Had one of the higher populations, because they were all densely packed in and basically used as slave labor. It was very, very nasty stuff. It's where Altine came from, so it had to be the worst of the worst cities. That was part of his requirements, and I was like, I know just the place. Here you go.
I need to live in the worst place.
I need to live in the worst location possible.
I need to live in Holmes' catwalks.
They ended up...
Like, you want to be from the bottom of society? Yes, sir.
They went down there for a whole plot to try to uncover a lot of things, and ended up encountering their first primal child of the primes, child of the primordials. I haven't come up with a name for them yet, so I've been avoiding naming them. Primordials? I'll find one eventually. Has to be unique. Has to be an interesting one. But that's where they first started encountering those guys. Basically people who had the genes of primordials ingrained into their very system of existence.
Hey, I got a question.
Look
at a map here, and there's a lake on the map called Two Lakes, but I only see one lake.
Oh gosh, which one is it? Which map?
It's the one that is zoomed in on Guildhome and Qualtar. It's the one. It's the one that's like 3 down from where the maps start. Got Guildhome, it's got the Sleeping Plains, it's got the Palace Crater, and then it's got the Desert Reach Coast. There's Strago and Qualtar and Onarion and Cubus. And
where is that?
Like 3rd from the top. When the maps start. Yeah. Down a little more.
Oh, shoot. I might need to go back to the Balashtar. Oh, yeah, Two Lakes. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't help but wonder. It says 2 lakes, but I only see 1 lake. What happened to the other lake?
So, it is 2 lakes. The first lake is the water lake on the top. And the second lake is the gas lake underneath. That is heavier than water, so it sank to the bottom of the lake. 2 lakes.
I'm getting some of that gene war bullshit here.
Gene war bull, yeah. Something genetic bad happened, and now it's 2 lakes. One on top of the other.
Is this one of these lakes that periodically has outgassing of poison gas that kills everyone around it?
It belches from time to time. The mists and felling might not be something you want to breathe deeply.
There's 2 lakes in Africa that do this with carbon dioxide, and they'll off-gas on occasion. And because the gas is so heavy, it just kills everyone around it through asphyxiation.
Oof. Yeah, I know that one, yeah. And it just seeps from the ground running. You can't see that, though.
Yeah. The big problem with the lake is it builds up in some of the colder layers down underneath. And then it builds and builds and builds, and it shoots out. Mm-hmm. So it's literally basically a gas eruption out of the lake, and there's a reason why certain parts of the world are considered cursed by the people, and no one wants to settle around there.
It's because of crazy gases that you can't see. People just die when you breathe that stuff in.
Yeah. Volcanic gases or other kinds of crap coming out the ground. It's not great for your lungs.
Definitely not good for your lungs.
Okay, so avoid 2 lakes. Gotcha.
Avoid 2 lakes. Yep, avoid 2 lakes. I forgot the 3-season stop. They had a little adventure there as well. They ended up saving a couple of runaway orphan girls who were from Zalem and were being hunted by a golden dragonborn bounty hunter named Dunkon.
Or so did somebody golden dragonborn, eh?
Yeah, he escaped.
Oh man, I would have made him into some boots.
I want me some golden boots. Well, here's the lovely thing, right?
He was actually gold dragon boots.
What they didn't realize is a lot of the thing. Well, actually, they did know this because I told them straight up. But what they didn't realize was the fortunality of the rolls I rolled for the encounters. Dunkon actually is a very well-renowned dragonborn inside Ira Dei. They all know him as this bounty hunter, but they never really know what he fully looks like, because in a lot of places he fools people. He lies to them constantly. He might not even be a golden dragonborn. They don't know that yet, because in most locations, he's known but not recognized. And he's a very good hunter. He's very good at finding people. He was... When they started, I think he was a level 13 when I made him, and they were only level 3 when they encountered him. So it's like, maybe a good thing he's getting away, and he's escaping. He probably would have steamrolled them.
I can see Tangerine swearing invectives at Duncan.
Because they recently re-encountered him. They have ever since now gained close to 200,000 gold in bounties on their heads, collectively. So now they are a very good catch for him. So he's suddenly become interested in these people he randomly encountered and robbed him of roughly, he probably could have gotten 5k from those 2 little orphan girls that he was trying to capture.
So now he's back. You have a bounty, you stole his gold, and presumably you stole his quarry. So he's got plenty of cause to hate you. And now he's come back for your heads and your bounty. Yeah, I'm going to be making him into some boots and into a belt. And I think since he's a dragonborn, we can probably make a set for the whole party.
It was actually the last aired session where his return came. Forgotten Foes. Came in very early on, and then now he's reappeared, and he's caused again for them chaos. He's escaped once again.
A golden scale dragonborn bag of holding would be pretty awesome.
I turned Duncan's testicles into bag of holding.
Oh, is that okay?
That's exactly what Tanj just said.
I've got to go turn off my freaking language filter. For some reason, it's filtering out all the swear words. So testicles is not a swear word for. You guys know better than this.
Tanj, if you all ever actually catch Dunkon and go through with that, I will allow that. Heck, if you all find Alan, if you find him wherever he is, he would probably help you do that and turn them into a bag of holding. By the way, I don't know if anyone... Oh, shoot! I broke a rule. That's not been aired yet.
Oop.
Whoops.
Recorded, not aired.
I said nothing. Rewind.
You'll find out in a little bit, people. Don't just pretend you didn't hear anything. Just shut the hell up, but you didn't see anything. How do I turn off the swear filter? Where did it turn back on?
Oh, and Tanj, thanks for the personal message. I am exhausted. I am very tired. It was a very long day. I've been up since 4 o'clock-ish. 4 a.m. and was running around for work all day. It was a very, very tiring day. Thank you. And it's also really freaking hot.
Yeah, it's a little too hot. There's the chat filter. There we go.
Oh, it's so hot.
I thought it was under account settings. No, it's right here in chat. And yeah, I really need like another fan in here because I moved my fan that was behind me into the living room to move air from the air conditioner in here to cool it down. That means I don't have very much air moving on me. It sucks.
Right. Yeah.
It really sucks.
Oh gosh, yeah, you can really... Yeah, it's the gleam and the glisten as well. I mean, I am sweating massively a lot right now, and you can tell a lot because there's a lot more glisten on me. Like, if I wipe it all away, I might actually look better than I am right now. Whoa, look at that. So much.
I'm just regretting the fact that I have to wear pants right now. Other than that, I could probably survive, but...
I had balls at one point. They've probably fallen off.
Frosty the Snowman, he melted into nothing.
How I wish I could bury myself inside of his big breasts. It's not gold. One place I wish they would go is Sarkon's Cradle. Mainly because in my head, it is one of the most beautiful locations I've created in this place. I absolutely think it's gorgeous, but there's just no reason to go there. None at all.
You gotta put a MacGuffin in there for him.
A MacGuffin? I thought the MacGuffin was the fact that I named it after one of the old gods that didn't return to deity.
Yeah, but I mean, he could have just decided to make his own Ira Dei with hookers and blackjack.
No. That's Orbit. Orbit J-Lo, Bartholomew Charleston, William White III.
Okay, please elaborate.
I am the god of love and passion. I will have you on your knees in a heartbeat, darling.
Welcome to Epstein Island. How may I help you?
He is great. I love Orbit. Orbit was one of my favorite deities.
I feel like that's a god you don't take a drink from.
Oh, by all means, take a drink from him. You will have the time of your life. Here's the thing.
I remember this quest in Skyrim. I woke up on the other side of the continent, drunk without my pants.
Yeah. This case, it wouldn't be that way. You'd remember every single moment of it. You would know that it was the most pleasurable night of your life. And you would also know that you will never, ever, ever reach that maximum peak ever again. And then thusly want to worship him for the rest of your life. Because you need that ecstasy.
He's basically methamphetamine the drug.
Yes.
Or the god.
Yes.
Okay.
But in a very good way, because you're still super productive. It's brothel workers who primarily worship him, because the worship from him helps them give the people who come in that sense of ecstasy and pleasure.
You figure it would ruin it for him, because it's like, oh, hey, yeah, I've done this shit with a god. Yeah, sorry, this is $20. Can you get this over with already?
No, I've had great lessons. Wonderful lessons. And I can teach you all of those delightful things in ways you will never be able to experience other than with me. And whenever you come back, we will both exult in that great glory. He gives to his worshippers. He gives a lot.
Oh, so he's actually one who will let you get that peak back, but you got to do the work.
You got to do the work for it.
You made the pimp god.
I did. Yes, I did. And he's absolutely kind of looks like it too. He's got those gold chains, the gold earrings, and these
I'm just picturing Valentino from Has Been a Hotel now.
Not too far off.
Just definitely more ethical since...
And a lot more charming.
Yeah, ethical is probably the big one on that one, because that is I know that character is evil as shit. You can make a god of that domain evil very easily.
Sarkon, these nuts. Oh my gosh. That is the exact joke that they pulled when I first told them that word too.
Dark on him in the face?
Yeah, well, his original name was, oh no, that was his original name. He changed his name to Carson. But yeah, Sarkon. They tore the mickey out of that one. And if you're ever looking to create worlds and create lore, always be sure to repeat a name to yourself at least 100 times. Because by the end of that, you will recognize what they can do to that word and know if you need to change it.
What you always have to do is you need like 10-year-old or an 11-year-old that you can tell all these names to. And if they can immediately point out the way that it sounds stupid, go back to the drawing board.
Right back to the drawing board.
If within 5 seconds of you saying the name, this 10-year-old has come back with a dick joke. Drawing board. This is the importance of running all of you shit by middle schoolers to see if it's just to see if it smashes or passes the sniff test.
Indeed. Well, we are close to that point, and my internet's having issues again, so I think this might be a good place to call it.
And I think we're both dying of heat stroke over
here.
Dying
of heat stroke, yeah. It's. I need to get an internal room temperature because I swear it's close to 90 in here at this point, if not much higher.
Oh.
Like, my back is covered in sweat.
Yeah. So in case anyone at home is wondering why I have a blanket over this, I don't have a shitty chair, by the way. This is a nice chair.
It is a good chair.
I just always have it covered because I am a sweaty bastard.
Gotta protect the chair.
Like, for the record, that chair over there is 10 years old and it still has nice leather on it because of that. Even though everything else on it is completely broken to crap. Like, every piece of wood on that thing is slowly turning back into sawdust.
Right, well, the next one of these is...
Well, it's not for like a month, I think.
Yeah, July 18th. That's when we'll be back.
Oh.
That's for the live versions of things. Everything on YouTube's just going to keep coming out. There's no delays in any of that.
I would show you Jeb, but Jeb is over in the bedroom, and I'd have to go chase him down.
No, and he's an old man. We got to leave him be.
Yeah, I've had to take him to the vet twice in the last couple of weeks, so...
I think it's great, Zaxamillion. It's wonderful having them pick up names and such.
But I will post some Jebby in Discord.
In Discord, do it to it. But when you're doing stuff on streamies things, you don't want 15 minutes of them just picking out a single name because they find it funny. You gotta try to make it funny enough that they have 1 or 2 jabs, not 15 million, and they're not making the Sark on these nuts every 15 minutes, or actually not 15 minutes. It was every other minute. Oh.
Plus, also, if you're going to do puns and you're gonna clown on people's characters, there's one thing you guys have to remember: get it all in like a minute or a minute and a half, so I can clip it.
Yep, get it all done quick and fast, and do not repeat the pun. Because if you repeat the pun, it's immediately no longer funny. It's just annoying.
Unless you go so far by just repeating it nonstop that it becomes funny again, but you probably give Murray an aneurysm doing that. So,
I usually call it at 3. If you say the joke one time, cool, I laugh. Twice, I might give you a chuckle, but on the 3rd time, I'm not even going to be reacting to it anymore. Because it's old at that point. It's super freaking old at that point. Anyways, enough on my pet peeves and phobias. They're not a phobia, it kind of is actually. But we'll see you all on that point. We're actually probably going to be going live on Friday or Saturday.
Yes, we want to.
Might be able to get Ben if we do tomorrow, but we'll have to see. He might not be going camping, so we'll play by ear. But we got to do one more live stream and then pick up another random one because I'm going on holiday, so the live stream is going to be going silent. But again, YouTube won't be. All those premieres are still going to be happening even while I'm on holiday. There's no delays in any of the stuff. It's going to be going. So for this point, I mean, I guess Rytak, have you got any last things before we be those cold hard people and cold cut these wonderful individuals?
I really ain't got anything.
Oh, it's great. Wonderful.
Just come back and see us y'all here. See us here, y'all.